Hey guys, welcome back to Selenium with Java June 2023 batch online training session 11. In today's session, I will cover how to read and write data in the Excel sheet through data driven framework and definitely through Apache PY, what is keyword driven framework in Selenium and what is hybrid framework in Selenium. So in previous session, you already learned about different framework concept. Also, you have learned about data-driven framework means, right, we can execute the same test case with the varying of the data with multiple iteration. But today we will learn that how we can read the data from the Excel sheet as well as how we can write back data to the Excel sheet simultaneously. So we have to take the data driven approach in Selenium. So for that we need to take help from the Apache PY. So Apache PY is an open source library developed and distributed by Apache Software Foundation to design or modify Microsoft Office file using Java program. It is a popular API which allows working around Excel using Java program. In short, user can read and write MS Excel file using Java. Apache PY is nothing but the Java Excel solution. So there are two kind of format. One is .xlsx and .xlsx. These are the two kind of format. In case you need to use .xlsx, maybe very long old version till 2003 I think. So we can use HSSF, and in case you are using .xlsx which is like 2007 onward, so you have to use XSSF. So that XSSF, it has many predefined method, classes and interface. So what are the preconditions for data driven framework? You would require the Eclipse IDE, you require the test-ng, right, the library to be added to your project, you would require the Selenium jar, you would require the Apache PY jar files, which you already seen in the last session how to download and how to add all the Apache PY jar file to your project, and the Microsoft Excel sheet where you will be having your own data. Sometime you can have your own header as well. So download the Apache PY, that is the path I already show. So you need to download all the path, you need to configure all the thing to your project. So how can you do it? So suppose say this is the project where already I have developed my code for the Apache PY. So this is the project, and this is the if you right click here after creating the project, right, if you go to the properties, right, if you go to the resources, then Java build path, right, there is option. If you select the library, there's options called add library. So there's, you can add the test-ng, and apart from that, in case you are having Selenium jar file or the Apache PY jar file, you can add it like here. So all the Apache PY jar file we have to load it along with the Selenium WebDriver jar file as well. And test-ng you can add it with the help of the add library, which already covered in the previous session. After that we will be creating a src folder package and the class. So if we simply open that one, that whatever thing already read, I have already written the code. So what are the thing I need to automate here? So first that you need to understand, and similarly you need to write the code accordingly. So say this is my page, and now I want to add email password, right, maybe 10 times, and I want to validate that my user ID password combination is correct or not, and then I can also click on the login button, and definitely there might be success or failure. But here I am just simply want to add the email and password fields, right, from the Excel sheet. So my code will be always same. I'll be opening the browser, I'll be logging to the Facebook page, I'll be entering the email and password. But that particular part I want to vary it n number of times. So that data I will drive it from the Excel sheet. So how you can read the data from the Excel sheet? I already covered it the normal way, right? So first I need to go to the path of the Excel sheet, right, and then the sheet name and extension. Then I need to go to the right tab here and row and column here. So here in the today's session I have given first column or for a first row as header. So what I will be doing, I will be trying to read it from here, means right, cell number 2. So here from the row number 1 I will try to read the data, whereas my row 0 I have kept for the heading purposes, which I will not interact with my code. I will simply keep as a header, right? So that this is the username field, this is the password field, and return in every iteration I want to update my test result, whether pass or fail or not completed like that. And this username password I want to take it every iteration. So what I did in my test cases, I have defined 3 global variable: WebDriver, XSF workbook, XSF sheet, XSF cell. These are the different variable I have declared or I have created globally. Then I have created 2 methods, annotation from the test engine, which is nothing but the after test and before test. After test, simply I am launching the Chrome driver, maximizing it, and before test, and after test simply I am quitting the browser for every iteration. Then I will write my code here. So this is my test cases, Facebook login page, that is my method name here. I am launching the browser first. After launching the browsers, I am creating object orientation for the file class, where I have given the complete path of the file, the path and the file name along with the .xls extension. So this is kept in my desktop, and the name of the sheet is Facebook credential, login credential, extension is .xls. So I have created the file object. Then you already know that you have to use the file input stream to read the data. So I have created an object for the file input stream class. Then I have defined that XSF workbook globally here, and this is the variable name. So I am creating XSF workbook new XSF workbook. So I have already created the global variable. So I am just calling that one, and then I am going to the worksheet. As I already came here, then I am going to the sheet here. So here sheet you can read it by 2 ways. One is indexing, one is by sheet name. Here so only one sheet is there, I can give the indexing as 0. So that is the way I am trying to read the worksheet. Then I will try to get the how many active row data is available. So how many active row data is available. So from the worksheet I am going here. After that I am calling the method called get last row number. So in case I already get to know that till this, suppose say 9 or 10, my data is available, then I can simply iterate using the for loop. But here just try to understand one situation here, condition. I am iterating I equal to 1. Why? Because in my Excel sheet I have kept the first row as header, which is row 0 equal to header. So I am iterating here from the cell number 2, means I equal to 1 until data is available, means get last row number where data is available. So I equal to 1, I less than row equal to row count, I plus plus. Then as and when I am already gone to the row number, so I am going to the cell here directly. So I am going to the worksheet first, then every I am going to the cell 0. Why? Because for the username field I want to iterate that cell 0, and for password field I want to iterate cell 1. So that is the way. Every time I am entering, I am clearing the value. From where I am entering the value? After converting the as a string type. And this is the field by ID equal to email, because through which I am trying to identify. That is the email field, because ID equal to email, that is the locator. Similarly for the password field, ID equal to pass. So that is the way, similar way for the column number 1, I am iterating for the password as well. So that is the way I am trying to read the data. Now here my objective is not only to read the data, apart from that, in case I am able to fetch the data correctly for every iteration, so what I will be doing, I will be trying to update my status also, pass or fail, like that. So let's see, let's say I will my test case is passed here. So I want to update the pass status for every row here, wherever data I am trying to iterate. So that is the reason I have created a cell called C. This is my cell, or cell number 2, 0, 1 and 2. This is 0, 1 and 2 cell. And here row number 1 onward, for every iteration, whenever my data will be picked up for username password field to enter the value in the Facebook login page, every time I will update my value in the test result. So how can you write the data? So you have to take the help from the file class and file output stream. That part you already know in the Java. So I am creating the object called file output stream here, and file class difference, same class difference I am taking it from here, because that is my file class. It is available in my desktop, and seed name is Facebook login credential extension is .xl. Same file I am referring, and the same file in the cell number 2 I want to update the value from the iteration, right? Row equal to 1, because row equal to 0 I am keeping it as a cell value. Then what result I want to update? I want to update pass or fail. So that is the reason I did not hard coded it. I am storing in some variable. Now I am going to the seed because I already go to the file. Then I am going to the work tab, and then every row I am creating a new cell 2 where I want to add the data. So this is my new cell 2, because this is cell 0, this is cell 1, and this is cell 2. So cell 2 I am trying to update. What update? Test result variable. So what is the value here? Pass. And after that I want to write the data into the workbook. So that is the stuff I want to do. Now I have told, right, in case you want to read the data, so what you can do, you can create Excel sheet, you can map it. After that it does not matter whether Excel sheet is open or closed, because reading anyway it is possible when your Excel sheet is still closed, but writing it will not happen, because in case your Excel sheet is open, can you write the data? No. So always you need to close your Excel sheet. After that you can update something, right, whenever it is doing through the automation. Otherwise you will not able to update the value in case your Excel sheet already open. So now my Excel sheet is open. This is my Excel sheet is open. I am saving it. I want to iterate for 4 different combinations: username 11, password 11, username 12, password 12, username 13, password 13, username 14, password 14, right? But my Excel sheet is open. So let's try to run it and let's see whether your code is working fine or not. So I will try to simply run it, but it will show me the error because my Excel sheet is open and it will try to read the data, but it will not able to update that. You could see the read is possible for the first iteration, but for the first iteration it is not able to update the data in the cell number 2. So what is the issue is coming? You could see right here, file not found exception, right? C drive, desktop, and then this is the login. You could see that process cannot access the file because it is being used by another process. Why? Because it is already open, so you cannot update the value. That is the reason. It already taken the data for the first iteration, you already entered here, but it is not able to update the data here in the test result part. So what I will be doing, I will save it and I will simply close it. Now I will go to my code, right? I am repeating one second time. So I have created 3 global variable. So what I did, I have created the project. I have added the testng library class. I have added the jar file for all Apache PY. I have added the jar file for Selenium WebDriver. So my testng is there, my Excel sheet is there, right? My Apache PY file is there, my Selenium jar file is there, which is the requirement for the data-driven testing for reading and writing the data. These are the different things, and Eclipse is already there. So I have created the project. After the search folder, I can create a package, I can create the class. This is the line of code I have written, right? So I have created 4 global variable for WebDriver, XSF workbook, XSF sheet, and XSF cell. I have created 2 annotation, before test, after test, where in the before test I am trying to simply open the Chrome browser, maximizing it, and the after test, every iteration I want to quit or close the browser. And in the test cases, so what I am doing, I am just launching my page. I am accessing the file, and I am trying to read the file through file input stream, right? And then I am going to the workbook here, and then I am going to the worksheet. So as and when I am going to the worksheet, my workbook tab name will be sheet 0, indexing will be 0, get sheet at. Then I am getting the row count, how many data is available. Then here in the first row, I already have my header, so I am trying to iterate a loop from my row number 1, and then for every iteration, right, I am trying to read the value from the cell number 1, 0, 1, like that for the, right, for the first one is the email field, second one is the password field. So my read part is done. But in the same loop, I want to write the data, so I will be taking the help from the same file class. I will be taking the help from the file output stream to write the data, and then I want to write the string, right, which is passed or failed, like that, in case my test is fine. And that part I will be updating in the Excel sheet in back. So after that, once it is done, I will be closing my Excel sheet, then I can run my test cases. Now let's try to run it. So it will try to run for 4 different variation, username, password, 4 combination. It will be entering, right, it will clear the value after every 3 seconds. So it will be trying to similar way. If you want to proceed in the other way, you can also do it. but that is the generic part. I have tried to cover it. So for combination is run. After opening the browser, it closed the browser. So my execution is done here and there is no error. Now what I need to do, because not only I want to read the data from this time, instead of that I want to write the data from the file as well. So if you open the Facebook login credential, now you could see the past status also got updated. So that is the beauty of the data-driven framework using the Excel sheet, where you not only can read the data as well as you can write the data. Now you remove the thing, and now let's go for two more iteration. So what happened for every iteration? You try to update it whatever based on the value you want to update it, pass, fail, or on hold or block, anything, right? Now let's again close it. So now I have 4 iterations, 6 iterations instead of 4. So now if you run it, so it will run for 6 iterations instead of 4, and definitely also it will update the test result from the row number 1 to 6 for different 6 iterations. That will be the beauty of data-driven framework. So in case you want to write, you want to execute n number of times, you need to update the Excel sheet, but you no need to touch your code. And your code, in case something is required to update, you need to just only update your code, not the Excel sheet. That is the way your data and code will be separate entity. It will not be in together. So that is the way you can really save your time or effort as well. Using data driven approach, now you can see that there is no failure, all run. If you go here, you could see the test risk also run. Now if you go and open the Excel sheet, right, you could able to see for 6 iteration your test result got updated automatically, right, based on the pass or fail. So that is the way you can change. You can give so many condition, so based on the thing it will be passed or fail, but automatically now you are able to not only read the data from the Excel sheet using Apache PY. Apart from that, you are also able to write the data in the Excel sheet back using that particular lines of code. So that is the way you can read and write the data using Excel sheet and through Apache PY jar files, guys. So I will take a pause for any questions. From the data-driven framework, another approach called read and write the file. Yeah.
Yeah, if our test cases fail, like we give the hard code value that make it pass only, right? But what if it fail?
Yeah, you can change it to fail, right? But this is a generic example I have given, but it will be more complicated, right? You need to give some condition, like if your data is able to pick up, it will be passed. In case it is not like that, it will be fail. So you can give another if and else clause within the same thing. So that will be a little bit complicated, but just try to cover the basic happy path flow. Yeah, but you can have your n number of condition also, right? Within the loop you can give if, you can give else, you can give also other part, right? Conditional statement you can give it, if else, if else,
Can,
if later as
can
well.
we have at least one example of that, like
But here
after
it is very
entering?
very simple, right? That is the reason it will not able to pick it up. But in case it is not able to identify anything, right, it will always fail. Okay.
Like, say for example, I enter my user ID and password, then I should get one particular page, right? If I don't get that page, then result is fail
Yeah, no, I mean I
because
need to little bit complex my code, so it is very very simple one. That is the reason. So here you need to give here, right, within that particular part, right here worksheet dot get cell dot set value. Here you need to simply give the condition. If suppose say after entering something, you will be getting some title, right, and you will be navigating
right,
to some pages. Suppose say you can give like driver dot title, right, get title, okay, like that. Suppose say equal to say whatever title say test, like, then you will be like adding that value. Suppose say you will be giving it like that, okay, like that. Okay, another one you can give else. Here you can just give like that, and you can copy the same line, and here you can give instead of pass, here you can just give it to failure. Okay, one second. So that is the simple part whatever you have learned from that one. If else part I already covered, so that is the way it will be work. So I mean based on your condition you need to give it. You have to give one more condition within the loop, that if and else ladder. Or you can, in case you are having multiple conditions, suppose say you can give if, else if, or else if, like it can be passed, fail, hold, block, like that. So you need to segregate with different other combination as well. So that is the way. From that one, as and when you are able to open the file, then based on the condition whatever condition will be coming, you need to break it down accordingly.
Got it.
So whatever you have learned thoroughly from the other one, simply thing you need to implement it. So here only simple thing, it will be if else in case you are having pass or fail, but in case you are having multiple conditions, similar way you can break that one, if, else if or else part. So that is the part you will be implementing in the real time. But here I have tried to cover another approach, right? So these two approach you'll be learning. So in yesterday I have covered, last session I have covered another approach called how to use the test ng, right? Data driven part, right? Data provider part. But here simply using the for loop you can read and write the data also using the Excel sheet. So these are the different kind of thing, right? I have tried to cover how to define the global level. Why we are defining global level? Because in case I am defining at the global level, because right under the particular class there might be so many number of methods or the blocks of code or maybe the different annotation. Unless you are defining globally, so every time within that particular block of code or maybe the method, right, you will not able to access them. That is the reason always it's better to define them globally, so that right anytime any method you can use the that particular variable or the class level right object using that throughout the class. So that is the reason. In the real time part, you should always define the global variable. And wherever it can be only used locally, then those part you can use locally. Okay. Suppose this is the local, right? Because row count, I want to only iterate in the local, in my only that for loop. So there is no point of defining globally because I want to use only local time, right? That is the wherever I am iterating it, right, for the test cases. So that is the reason it is local variable, right? Integer. Other variable is global variable. Anyone other issue? Because this will be little bit complex, guys. Okay, so you need to go for couple of number of time practice, right? Then only you can able to understand. Did not very
And
straightforward.
over here also we have to have try and catch block, right?
Yeah, that is what
Yeah,
I was about to say, sir.
yeah,
That
right, right, right.
from last two
Because yeah,
session,
because
actually, I
here
did
why I
not.
have given, so every time I want to wait for 3 seconds, na, after entering the value. That is the reason. It is not about the try catch block. It is because in case you are giving thread dot sleep, you have to use always try catch block or the exception. So it is the for the thread dot sleep only. Because I want to wait every time 3 seconds after entering the value before updating the value in the Excel sheet. So that is the reason I have given thread dot sleep equal to 3 seconds. And in case you are using thread dot sleep, so you have to use always surround with try catch block for the thread dot sleep. But here, right, I did not use try catch block normally because I have already used the IO exception here. You could see. Otherwise, whenever you are dealing with the file class, you have to always use that try catch block or the exception. Otherwise, it will not work because this is the file related class. So you have to use IO exception or generic exception because exception is the top, right? That part. So in case you are using exception, it will handle all kind of stuff. But it's better to use the class level or the method level exception so that you can easily understand what are the different kind of thing you have used it, and it will help you really down the line. But in case as and when you will be working on the file class, always you have to surround with the exception or try catch block. Otherwise, your code will never work.
Yeah, and for writing and reading, it is better to give the some time, right? Because it's always takes some seconds.
Yes, yes, yes. That is the two approach I have given, but I already told, right? In that part, there might be 20 approach for reading and writing the data. But this is the very easiest approach. I have tried to given two approach. Okay, very straightforward and easiest. So yeah, first try to habituate to the easiest one, right? Very easiest mean very time saving and very easy to understand. Then slowly, as and when you will be learning more and more, then you can really deal with that other part. That not be a problem. But first approach you need to identify, you need to understand, right? What are the way, right? That your code should write. What is the logic behind? So forget about the code. So I already told, right? In case you want to interact with the Excel sheet, how you can do it? You need to go to the path here, you need to go to the sheet name, you need to go to the extension, Then you need to go to the workbook, right, or the tab. You need to go to the row and the column and then your cell. That is the way you'll be doing. Simple thing, same thing I have tried to implement it, right? I'll be going to the file class. I'll be using file input stream in case I want to read. In case I want to write it, I'll be using file output stream. Then I'll be going to the workbook. Then I'll be going to the worksheet. And whenever I'll be going to the worksheet, then I need to identify which sheet number I want to read it. Right? In case in only 2 or 3 sheet is there, right? I can go with the indexing. In case I am having n number of sheets, I can go with the sheet name, because your sheet should name should be always unique, right? In your tab name or sheet name in this particular whole Excel book. Okay, then I will be identifying, right, how many row data is available. Then in case suppose a 10 row data is available and first row you are keeping, or cell number row number 0 you are keeping only for the header, you will be writing the reading or writing the data from the cell number 1, sorry, row number 1. And then in case you are having 5 field or 5 column, then similarly you can go with the cell wise. And in case you want to read, update new data, so you will be using file output stream. You can create a new cell and you can update the data. So that is the way your code will be working. So that simple thing, right, whatever you have learned, right, by thorough logic, so that simple thing will be trying to implement it. But in case you basically forgot that part, right, how you should read the data or write the data, then it will be very very tough for you to code also as well, because the same way I have tried to rewrite my code, right, or implemented my code. Anyone, any other questions before proceeding to the next two very very important topics? Okay. So the next one is like data driven and the keyword hybrid, keyword framework, driven framework and the hybrid framework. So as of now, data driven framework, what is the objective, right? Using the data driven data sheet, same test case I am repeating it n number of times with different variety of the data. But what is the keyword driven framework? So keyword driven framework is a technique in which all the operation and instruction to be performed are written separately from the actual test case. The similarity it has with the data driven framework is that operation to be performed is again stored in an external file like Excel sheet. User can easily control and specify the functionality they want to test. So what you will be doing, whatever operation, whatever activity you want to do for each and every step, those operations you are defining by yourself. Suppose simply I want to launch a page. I want to enter some value. I want to click some button. I want to verify something, whether the button is available or the text is available, link is available. So this is my right actions I want to perform. So for every actions I'll be writing my code that what this particular action will work accordingly. Okay, because I will define the way, right, which action should do what way and what are the different attributes should support. So automation script, there will be a keyword library and which you will be writing, interacting with the automation script, and automation script will be working with the application under state, and both the way communication will be there, right, both the way. Your keyword library will be working with the automation script. Automation script also will work with the keyword library. Similarly, automation script will work with the AOT or application under test, and also AOT also you will send the updated output, right, to your script based on the script you are executing. So that is called keyword driven framework. So advantages: a single keyword can be used across multiple test scripts so that code is reusable. Suppose say I want to click, so my operation will be click, but I can click operation on the link, on the button, right, on a checkbox, like anything. So always it should be click. So based on the click, right, you will try to identify the element, it will try to simply hit that. That's all. So single keyword can be used across multiple test scripts so the code is reusable. User can write the desired test plan having desired input and verification data in the form of simple and convenient spreadsheet. In case some expert having expertise of scripting language used by the automation tool can create utility script well before the creation of the detailed test plan. Then the testing engine is able to use the automation tool immediately through the spreadsheet input method, and for this they need not master the concerned scripting language used by the automation tool. So, I will slowly you can learn. Once your framework or schema or skeleton is developed, so that time it will be time consuming. But after that, even with very minimal knowledge on the automation, they can still do the scripting. Right? Scripting means they can simply, basic generic way, they can try to add the n number of test cases, which will require very minimal knowledge on the automation. That is the beauty of the framework. So framework means it will save you the time, effort, as well as, right, with very minimal knowledge of the automation. Still, other person can add some test cases. Definitely, they would still require the help from the lead or the like automation test manager or the senior team member. Definitely, but still, right, without knowing thorough knowledge, they can start their journey on the right, doing some real time hands-on the automation and contribution to the project. User become productive with the new testing tools for quickly, since they require to understand the format for use in the test plan and various desired keywords. This permit deferment or scheduling or more exhaustive training of new tools at some more convenient time in the future. Because in case with very minimal training, right, you can just give demonstrate them the objective, right, after that slowly they can pick it up and slowly they can start contributing, right, even without proper automation knowledge. Once your framework is developed, right, you can definitely other non-automation tester also can contribute in as well. So that is the reason. Sometime in case you already developed an automation team, maybe 10 members team, so maybe your lead will be there, your test manager will be there, or couple of senior folks will be there. But remaining junior folks, maybe they can be taken from the other company, other project, or maybe very new to the automation. Still, you can survive. Why? Because you already developed your skeleton, right? And from that, right, very minimal knowledge also still other person can contribute it. Okay, that is the advantage and disadvantage, right? As and when you are developing any kind of framework, it does not matter whether it's a data driven, whether it's a keyword, whether it's a hybrid or BDD. Initial time you need to invest additional effort or cost to set it up. Sometime, right, your framework might take like 1 or 2 weeks time. So 3 or 4 or 5 members need to spend that time to develop the framework from the scratch. So it is time consuming. The tester is required to have great expertise about the scripting language of the test tool so that they can successfully create customized function and utilities required for the application. Although this statement is valid for all other methods as well. The tester is required to learn several special format and keyword for creating the customized utility required for the application. This process can take considerable time and can have adverse effect on the test plan development. However, this problem arises in the beginning only, and when testers get enough acquaintance with the process, they will able to create the test case much faster. So initial time, right, in all aspects, right, everyone need to contribute more, right, need to understand the logic, right, need to go through thorough training, exhaustive training, they need to understand, then slowly they can try to contribute it. But nothing is like very hard and fast rule. Once your framework is developed, right, you already spent couple of days time, right, everyone is confident, then definitely everyone can proceed accordingly. But initial time some challenges will be there day to day, day wise, right, and also for the major chunks or major issues also. So what is keyword driven framework and what is data driven framework? So data driven framework you already know, right? You need to write, right, you need to execute the test cases, same test case again and again and again based on the different combination of the data. What? For the keyword driven framework, what you will be doing, you will be writing the keyword accents for similar kind of reusable component. So that is the way, right? Your keyword driven framework is easy to maintain due to more abstraction layer between test script, test data and keyword, etc. Comparatively harder to maintain since the abstraction is only between test data and test script. Planning has to be extensive and precise for keyword driven framework. Planning is easy since it is only needed for the test data and the test script. It is not possible to write test script even before the product has finished development stage. Okay, for the data driven framework, because you will be writing, you will be executing same test case again and again and again to verify variation in the data. So your script should be ready, your application should be stable enough, then you can go with the automation and you can run a single test case n number of time with different variety of the data. But whereas for the keyword driven framework, right, you can give some time for creating the skeleton or the schema based on how many test cases you want to automate, what is the overall kind of focus for automation, right, what is the overall cost, right, they can spend all this stuff will consider, right, then right you can do the development framework creation from the scratch. So if when your product is ready, still you can be part of that, and as and when you will be completing the framework development, then your product is ready, immediately you can start the execution. So that is the couple of different. So what is hybrid driven framework? So hybrid framework is nothing but a combination of data driven as well as keyword driven framework. So data driven means same test case you can run it n number of time, but here you are also including the keyword driven framework where maybe you can write the steps key for each and every generic step, right? So hybrid framework in Selenium is a concept where testers are using the advantage of both keyword and hybrid framework as well as data driven framework. It is an easy to use framework which allows manual tester to create test cases by just looking at the keyword, test data and object repository without coding in the framework. Here the keyword as well as the test data are externalized. Keyword are maintained in a separate Java class file, and test data can be maintained either in a properties file or Excel file, or can use the data provider of a test engine framework. What are the advantage of the hybrid framework? The hybrid framework is built with several reusable module function libraries that are developed with the following feature in mind. Maintainability. Hybrid framework significantly reduces maintenance effort. So I already mentioned, right? As and when you are using any major framework, your maintenance effort will be easy because, right, you can debug your script, right? You can, right, try to identify the problem, right? You can try to fix it, and it will be initial time, it will be time you need to spend additional time, but as and when you already developed the framework, so with very minimal time, right, you can fix the issue, and you can also add the test cases after down the line. And reusability, it allows to reuse test case and library function. Manageability, effective test design, execution and traceability. Accessibility, easy to design, develop, modify and debug test case while executing. Availability, it's allowed to schedule automation execution. So means, right, nowadays the CI/CD also integrated, so you can also try to kind of automate that build process part. So in case as and when, right, your build will be triggered automatically, you'll try to execute the suit, it will generate the report. Reliability, due to advanced error handling and scenario recovery. Flexibility, framework independent of system or environment under test. Measurability, customizable reporting of test result ensures the quality output. And disadvantage are generic, also similar, also only, right, tester you need to spend additional time, right, going through the all the other stuff, right, they would require some programming knowledge, they need to invest some time additionally, right, for those part, because your framework development, skeleton framework, all this stuff will take some time. Okay, now so that is the theoretical part. Now say I want to automate some of the page where I want to, right, create couple of risk cases. Suppose say this is my ready login page. Okay, I want to create a test case to see that whether my web page is launched successfully. That is my one test case. Second test case, I want to like click on the username password field and I want to click on the sign in button with valid invalid credential. Third test case might be I am entering the username password field, I am simply clicking on the forgot password link, I am going to the next. So that is the way I can try to add my n number of test cases. Okay, so this is the project I have created for the keyword driven framework and hybrid framework. Both the framework will be covered here. So what are the things you need to write first? So how will be writing and creating the project in the real time? Right now no need to create, you can just simply you can export it and you can just simply replace it. So that path I already given here, I think so, otherwise I'll ping you that path, right? It is already there in my GitHub repository. Simply you can download it in case I'm giving the path. After that you can unzip it and you can unzip it and paste it in your desktop. Then what you can do, you can click on the file, right, you can go to import, right, existing Maven project or all this part. Okay, or existing Maven project from SCM in case already there in the Git repository, right? Or maybe that is the way. Maven. In case it is a general one, simply you can click on the general. You can existing project into the workspace. Next, you can give the path here, and simply you can click on the finish after selecting the path, right? Select that file like that. Select the file here. You can simply click on the finish. Okay, that is the way you can add to your project. After added project was project already created, but in case you want to create the project from the scratch, so you can simply create a project. You can also add associate all the jar file, Selenium jar file, Apache PY jar file, right? And then you can and test engine will be there. Your reference library will be added, right? Just Selenium jar file. Then in the src folder, you can create couple of packages here. So I've created 3 packages. One is Excel export and file IO operation and the test cases. Okay, and I'll be creating two more things which I'll be pasting in the project level. So how can you do any Excel or the properties file? Right click new, right? You could see other, and here you can give something called right file. Okay, so I can select anything file and I can give here file name, and extension should be always dot properties. So here I have created object dot properties file. So what is my page I want to automate? I want to automate the ready page. Okay, so that is the first part. You need to create a properties file. After opening it, right, I have pasted something called URL, username, password, sign in button in this part. I'll explain it. And I also created the Excel sheet and I pasted it. So how can you get the path? So right click here and go to the properties. In case you do not know, you can go to the resources. There's a path available. Simply copy that path. In case you do not know where a project is available, simply press Windows R, simply paste it here. So automatically the project will be open. You could see that is my project open, right? This is my project here, and this is the src folder. You could see this is the package also available, right? You could also see it from here. And if you open the package, right, you could see these are the different Java class already available. You can open it. But I want to open that test cases. Okay, Excel sheet dot xlsx. So here I have already written 4 or 5 test cases. So you can add in the same Excel sheet n number of test cases. So yeah, there is 2 test cases is already there. Okay, so you can add n number of test cases. So what is the test case written here? You can click on the enable readily. Okay, so there are a couple of columns. Just try to understand this first. Okay, this is my test cases name. This is my first column. This is the keyword, means which are the keyword I want to write it my own, and then I will define then which this keyword, how this keyword will do the actions. That part I will do it later. This is the object, means what field I want to interact, and whatever field I want to interact, what is the element locator, and what is the value I want to pass it from that field. So this is the 5 column I have given. I have given my own. That is the way I have developed my framework by myself. But there can be n number of ways. I am not denying the fact. I have did one very easiest way. Other person can create the framework similar keyword driven or hybrid in different way. But objective should be like I should able to read and write the data. I should create the keyword. I can use them, and I can maintain the framework easily. I can add n number of test cases after that added, so that will be very easy. You could see that particular part test case wise any person can do it without knowing the proper framework. Also suppose say tomorrow I need to work another page, another test case. Suppose say I'll be kind of going to that page, right, and I will be going to the other forgot password page, and here I want to add some value. I want to click on the next like that. So that is the way I want to create one more test case. Similarly, I can go to the other URL. I can create some login credential. Like it can be. In case it's a valid, it will throw the error. All this stuff can happen. So this is my test cases. This is my second row. So try to understand the what logic I have given. As and when there is a value in the column A, right, or the test case field, I did not given any value here in the corresponding other column. Why I did not given, I will explain you later. Similarly, this is my other test case. I did not given any value for the respective column wherever test case is equal to value. Then this is my accents or keyword, right? I want to interact. What is the keyword name? That is the name you can give it. Navigate to URL. But the action details I'll be letting you know how you can enter it. And here there will no object because I want to open the URL, so there is no kind of element locator object, right? And simply I want to pass the value called URL. Suppose I want to launch the page, so my actions will be navigate to URL, and my what URL I will be giving, I'll be giving that URL ready page. Okay, then next one. So in case I want to, what is my object of the test case? Log into the ready page with invalid credential. So after the page is launched, what I need to do? I need to identify the email password field, right? And then I need to click on the login button or sign in button, so that my, in case my value is not valid, it will throw the error. That is my objective, right? So what I did here, then set text, because this is the input field, so I want to enter the value, so I have given set text. Username is my field name, I have given manually. And what is the way I am identifying it? Through ID. Let's go to the particular part here and press F12 button. Okay, press F12 button. So that is the element locator, and the corresponding value you can get it, because every element you need to give some name by your own, right? So this is the email username field I have given, email username, whatever you can give it, you can change it also. Similarly, keyword also you can give your own name, but definition part definitely you cannot change the code. So you could see here, right? ID field is there, and login is the value. So given element locator as ID, means object type through which I am identifying the element is ID. Value I will let you know where I have given, and then what value I want to enter, right? I am not hard coding anything. Instead of that, I am writing in the Excel sheet, so that any point of time I can simply update my Excel sheet, right? Username 1234. Similarly, password also I want to enter the value, so same keyword I want to call, because I want to enter the value. So say I did not return any new keyword, so I want to return keyword called same keyword, set text. Then for the next field, password, how I want to identify the password field? So you can go mouse it over to the password field, you could see pass name equal to pass PSSWD. So I have tried to identify it with the other one, name. Okay, then what value I will be giving it? Password 1234, any value you can give it. Then next one, after that you want to click right on the link sign in button, so that sign in button you want to click, so that what, let's inspect it, what is the element locator type? Name equal to proceed. So with by name I want to click on that Excel sheet, right? So my element name is silent button I have given, and my actions is or keyword is click, and my I want to click here with the help of the name. So definitely I don't want to pass any value, because I'm clicking it here, simply that is the reason, simply your value is blank. Similarly, my other test case is that click on the forgot password link in the ready page. So similar way you are navigating to the URL, you are trying to enter the email ID password field. After that, you are, instead of sign in button, you want to click on the login forgot password link. So what is that one, right? You can identify it through link text or partial link text, and you can give the value name called forgot password. And what is the operation you want to do? It does not matter whether it's a right a link or hyperlink or other stuff, you simply clicking on that part. So that is the operation, your keyword you have given it. Similarly, in case you are having n number of test cases, you can simply add it here like one by one. So that will not be a problem. So that my part is done, my Excel sheet is done, right? I already created the properties file. Now the URL field I already know, this is my global part, right, which will never change, or in case I need to change, I will simply change it here. In case I want to change the URL to tomorrow to CGI1, I will simply update it only one time. Then username field and login, why I have given, try to understand. Here I have tried to identify username with the ID, that is the username field I have given my own, but I want to identify the username field through ID element locator. And what is the value of the ID element locator? Let's try to understand here. Okay, ID element locator value is ID element locator value is login1 for the username field. So what I have given here, you could see this is the variable name, whatever it should match with the Excel sheet, and the corresponding element locator value here I need to give it, because this is the element locator and the value I am trying to give it in that here, and this is my variable name, so same value should map with here. In case you are changing it with username 1, also your text file should, properties file you should update. Now next part, password field. I want to identify through name. So what is the name value? What is the name for the password field? You could see here. Okay, what is the name? PASSWD. So now if you go to the properties file, you could see password field, the name equal to PASSWD based on the element locator name. Now sign in button. So what is the name I have given is sign in button. The Excel sheet, that is also matching. But through which properties I am identifying sign in button? I am identifying sign in button through name. So what is the name here? Right, let's go to the sign in button. So what is the name? You could see name equal to proceed. So now whatever I have written here, sign in button, and this is the value of the element locator name field. Then name forgot password, that is the name I have given for the forgot password link. You can give anything, right? A password also, so that you can learn it. And what is the forgot password? I have tried to learn through link text, right? This is the Excel sheet, you could see the link, right? Link text or link. So that part also I map it now later point of time. So what is the link text? Forgot password. Now if you go here, you could see the value I have given forgot password. So that is the way you need to map it, so that any point of time, in case your element locator is changing, you can update there, and corresponding value you can simply update in the object.properties file. So that part is done. Now next part. Next part is I want to create the operations. Right? What are the different operations I need to perform? First I need to read that properties file. So I will be creating the package called operation, and I have created a class here, read properties file, that Java class. Okay, so I have created an object which is the properties class coming from the Java. You could see java.util the properties package. So I am created an object called the properties class. Now I am creating a method here. What is the method name? Get object repository. So with the help of the file input stream, right, I want to read the file. So this is the path I have given. Okay, okay, so file, new file, file input stream, new file input stream, and this is the path. So what does path is mean? So in case, suppose say, why I have given this path, I can give my path, right? Whatever is there, my C drive, Dale, all this stuff. But tomorrow, in case, right, you want to extract that particular line or particular complete code from the GitHub, and you are saving in your local, right? And tomorrow, today, my project was in the C drive. Tomorrow, in case it is a D drive, right, it will not work. And your also desktop name is, suppose say A, my desktop name is Dell or Lenovo or this stuff, it will also not work. So that is the reason always to give the current project path, you need to use system.getProperty and user.directory. Now how can I understand that this is giving the current project path? So this is the correct project, current project path, complete path, right, of the project. What is the project path? C user Dell desktop and then keyword dependent framework, that is the complete project path. So this path I need to go. After that I can go to the / object.properties. Then I can go to the object properties file. So now if you expand that test cases and if you mix running, so what does it print it out? So it will always print the current project path, irrespective of what your system, irrespective of my system, irrespective of n number of system. It will always give you the current project path. So in case your project is saved in your D drive, E drive, like any number there, it will give you, if you run it from your system, it will give you the correct project path from your system, not from my system. So that is the way, right? You no need to worry. So always it will give you the correct project path there. So system.getProperties and double quote user.directory. So that is the thing you need to remember to give you the current project path. / you already came to the current project path. Then / within the project object.properties is available. So / object.properties file. Then there is a method called load. So I am loading the properties file completely and returning it. And returning means property. So that is the way I am trying to read the properties class file, all the file from the properties from that particular object.properties file. So that part is done. Second thing, again I will create another class called keyword operation. So the first thing, I am setting global driver webdriver.driver. Then you need to create a constructor, because this is the method, sorry, class name, and I am creating a constructor here. Here this dot driver equal driver you need to assign. Otherwise, because every time in the method also you will be creating some driver, right? So it will not match until you are doing it. This dot driver equal driver, always you need to use it, so that global driver is always map with this driver. Otherwise it will not map, it will throw the error. Now I will create two methods. So this is the first method I need to create it, which I will be creating as a private method. Get object means whatever I have written in the Excel sheet, that part I need to identify with the Selenium logic. So in case you are mentioning is ID1, that is still fine, it will not be problem. But that ID1 you need to exactly means what does it mean by ID1 and what extent it should identify all this stuff. So here you could see here I am trying to properties P, I am trying to read it from the properties file. Then my object type. Then in case your object type equal ignore case equal to XPath, right? Then what you need to do, you need to use by dot XPath, right? Then p dot get properties on object name. So that is the way you need to do. Similarly, if it is matched with class name, you need to go by dot class name, which is this from Selenium WebDriver related part. In case it is equal to name, but Selenium will not understand cap name, it will only understand by dot name. So I am converting it that name. In case it is a matching with ID, it will be by dot ID. In CSS selector link, it will be by dot link text. So I am matching link equal to by dot link text, which is the term from the Selenium it is coming. So similarly, partial link, it is partial link text. Otherwise, in case it is not matching with element locator, then it will throw the error object wrong, not found, or wrong object type. So that is the way whatever I am written here in the object type, those part I am trying to map it now based on the Selenium logic. That part is done. The next part, so as of now I already defined this one, object name you already indicated, and now this part I want to map it. Keyword, because nobody will understand navigate to URL. What is this? Set text, what is this? Click, what is this? Because this is not matching of the Selenium pattern. So I will now map it. So I'll be creating 5 variable here, and now I'll be giving switch statement. In case, right, operations dot to uppercase, in case it is matching with click, what is my objective? I want to click. Divert dot find element, right, by dot id or name or XPath, then dot click. That is the operation I want to do based on Selenium WebDriver. So here I have given, in case it is matching with the click, it does not matter uppercase lowercase, so always it will try to do divert dot find element by dot id name class name is like anything dot click. So that's what I have tried to implement. And this part means what I need to do, this dot get object, what is the object type, and object name. Based on the object name, what is the object name and object type and corresponding value. That is the way it will try to read it. Similarly, in case of set text, so what is set text? Means I want to enter the value. How I enter the value? Always for the set text, divert dot find element by dot name class name etc. dot send keys. And what is the value I want to enter? That is the value I want to enter for the send keys. In case it is a click, there is no value. You need to enter. In case it is navigate to URL, there is no object required at all. So simply need to pass the value. So divert dot, right here, in case navigate to URL, divert dot get URL and the value equal to the URL. So that is the way. In case you are having n number of method, you can write it like using case statement. In case you are having n number of element locator, you can write it here using else if statement. So that is the way basic two part you can map it. So this is your ID that map with that particular method, ID name class name by dot like that. This is the object keyword or operation you are defining by your own. An object you already know, you have already mapped with from here to that properties file, and the value also you are passing in based on the object type or the keyword. Now we have tried to map it. Next thing, I want to read the Excel sheet, right, wherever it is present. So I have created a class called read Excel file keyword. So I have tried to go to the sheet here, right. I have given file path, how I can read the file path, then the file name, then the sheet name. So I will be using file class. Okay, so file path plus file name. What is the file name? So that is the file path here in the project, right? This is the C drive, D drive, wherever my project is there. That is the file path. Okay. So this is my path here. This is my file path, complete path. Then the file name is state test dot xlsx. So that is the complete path I need to give it for reading the file, right? Then so once the file is readed, I will be going to the workbook. Initially I am defining with the help of the file input stream. So here I am giving two conditions, right? You can also remove the other line of code. In case you always know that you already .xlss. In case it is .xlss, I will be giving the condition called hssf. In case it is .xlsx, you will be giving xssf. So that is the part I have tried to give it. And then you already know the file path, file name, other stuff. Then you can go to the sheet. So here you could see, as and when you are going to the workbook or the file name, then you are going to the get sheet dot get sheet, or get sheet at means through indexing, or dot get sheet means through sheet number. You could see sheet name, you can give it, and which is written in the data sheet. That is the way you can try to read the data sheet part till data sheet part. Then you can create your own test case. So this is my test case I have designed for the keyword driven framework. So I have defined like global WebDriver, and this is my two-way, right, two annotations for reading, launching the browser, which is setup method, and for closing the browser every time. Then this is my test cases, where what I am doing it, I am creating the object for all the classes whatever I have defined globally, right, for the right read and write operation to the Excel sheet. So first I am creating the object for instance, right, for the read Excel file keyword, right. This is the file what first one. Second one, for read properties file, I am creating the object called object. Then I am using properties, that is the method I am calling it get object repository, right, here in the properties you could see, oh, not object, yeah, you could see this is the method I have written. So I am creating, trying to call that method. So I am getting all the details from the properties file. Now I can go to the keyword operation, because I already got to know the properties, means the field name as well as the field attribute value. Then I can create an object for the keyword operation. Then I already created the method for going to the sheet here, right? So how I can go into the sheet? I am going to the path of the file, then the name of the file .xlsx, then I am going to the sheet using the indexing, right, or the sheet name. So similarly, I am trying to read it here. I am giving the file name here, complete path. And what is the seed name? You could see this is the file name testcase.xls, and seed name is keyword driven framework, right? You could see here it is given keyword driven framework. That is the seed name. That is the seed name I am trying to read it. Instead of indexing 0, 1, 2, 3, it is string format. So that is the way I am trying to read complete seed. Now, what I am doing, I am trying to read how many rows data is available. So here, last row, that is another approach. You can directly go to the last row number, but here few of the row data is not available, right? So I am trying to read where how many row data is available. Suppose it is 11th line, and what is the first line what data is available. So it is difference is 10, but I am having the data from the row 1 to 10, 11. But if I differentiate, it is not giving me the right picture. So I have to always add +1. So that is the reason I have given last row number minus first row number +1, means it will give me the exact line where data is available. You could see that is the line of code I have tried to implement it. Now I am iterating it from the using for loop. So I am iterating it from the I equal to 1. Why? Because this is the I equal to 0, or the right row number 0. I have keep it for the heading purposes. So I am reading it from here. Now I am trying to read it here. I am going to the row. How many row data is available for every I. Then I am giving the if condition. Here try to understand. Very, very logic condition I am given. So that is the reason I have tried to implement the Excel sheet. Wherever test case is there, I am not given anything here. So that means as and when test cases not equal to null, means test case is not having any value, so it will try to do the operation. And as and when test case is having the value, it will simply print out the test case's name, the test case execution started or maybe the ended, like that. So as and when that is the condition I have tried to given, right? If row get cell 0 to string dot length equal to 0 means whenever there is no value available, so that means in the other row, right, whenever that particular cell number 0 no value is available means these are the actions will perform for the test cases. And as and when this is the value available, so it will what it will do, else it will do that part will be added along with the test cases name, and also that part last part will be concatenated. So that is the way your test case will be executed. Now let's close that sheet, or maybe open close it. Now let's try to execute it, and let's see how the execution is happening. Here two test cases I am trying to execute. One is I am trying to open the ready page, and then I want to kind of add the username password field, so it will error because of the invalid part. Second thing, let's case I want to open the ready page, I want to give the username password, then I want to click on the forgotten password link, so it will open the and every time it will quit the browser because generic wise I have written the setup method or the tear down method. So now let's try to run it here. So you try to launch the page, it is entering the username password, click on the sign in button. Next test case it will execute. Entering the username password field, click on the forgotten password link and closing the browser. So it is still considered as a one test case, right? So that is called keyword driven framework. It is trying to execute based on the keyword, but it is still considering as a one test case here. Now if you go here, it is you could see. Now if you go to the console, you could able to see the output here. You could very easily understand, right, how your execution also happening. So that part I was telling, right, you can also understand manually. Anyone can easily understand how the test case is behaving. You could see new test cases, login. What is the test case name? Login with ready page with invalid credential test execution started, and this is the syntax I want to add, right? Test execution started, that part I have added, concatenated. Now think, navigate to the URL, because it say app navigate to the URL, there is no object, locator, so simply I am giving the URL. Then set text, which field I want to identify the username field, I want to identify through ID. The value I will not giving it, I mean element locator ID value, but what value I want to enter, username 1 2 3 4. Then next set text again, what password field, through which name properties, and which value I want to enter. Then the clicking, because clicking is the link, so there is no value, you just simply identify the field and through element locator and simply clicking. That test case again. Next test case, right, another test case, invalid credential. Okay, then you could see set text, username where what value you are entering, password what value entering, after that, right, which button you are clicking, sign in, right, and you are clicking on the name, through name, like that is the way you can simply create the test cases. So your test case is getting executed. Now in case you want to create more test case, so simply you can go to the properties, you can simply copy it here, that path you can simply go directly your project, you can go to the test cases, right, you could see. Now I can add n number of test cases. Okay, I already added couple of test cases here. Maybe I can, right, I can add one more test cases called set 3. Simply you are adding it. After you are creating the skeleton, you can add n number of test cases. So now it will be having 3 test cases, 5 test cases. 1, this is the 2, this is the 3, this is the 4, and this is the 5. So this is set test 3, you can just change the value, because everything will same. So 7 7 or maybe 7 7. Now you are saying 5 test cases like that total, but it will be considered single test cases. Okay, so that is the way you can do it. Similar pattern you can use it, so other person can easily add n number of test cases. Once your skeleton is ready, you just save it, close it. Now you can run it. You would able to see here 5 test cases it will be executed. Okay, username 1 combination, -1, 2 combination, and third combination 66, and again clicking on the login password, again launching it and closing it. Now you could see here, going it here, you could see the this is the first test case, login to Rediff with invalid credential, right? What is the second test cases? With invalid credential set 2. What is the third test case? Just now I have added set 3. You could see now. Now you don't need to touch your code. Simply you can update the test cases with all generic way like that. Now fourth test cases is, right, you are clicking on the forgotten password link, and fifth test cases is like you will be having your simply navigating to the URL. So that is the way it will behave as a single test case. So that is called keyword driven framework. Based on the keyword you are trying to execute the test case. Data driven framework. So you already know single test case I can run it, but hybrid is nothing but a combination of single and data driven framework. So I will just created one more thing for hybrid framework. So here I have defined something called WebDriver driver again, and this time I am trying to read it from the with the help of the test-ng part. So here I also created a method called test login, and data provider but I am matching it, and here the condition is little bit changed. Okay, now let's open the Excel sheet again. Here the condition little bit I have changed, modified. One second, on this one. This is my test cases. So what condition I have given here in the code? In case test case name not equal to null, means it is having some value not equal to null, and length not equal to 0, means in case as and when this particular column 0, cell 0 is having some value, every time it will launch the browser, because I did not given before test after test. So in case this is the value, every time it will launch the browser. Okay, then next you can see this is launch the browser. Then similar way I have created the object or method for the other classes, similar way, because same generic thing you also need to implement. Then what it will do, right, it will also similar way read Excel file, it will going to the sheet tab, and then here also trying to read the row count, right? Here I am trying to go for two inner loop, outer loop. Okay, so what is the object, right? Inner loop and outer loop. For every I and for every j is the cell number, I am going to iterate, and then I am trying to get new cell. Whenever there is a value, I am trying to execute it. I will explain it one more time, but let's try to run it. So the based on the new logic, and let's see understand. I will explain one more time how the code has been written. Now you could see some difference. So here execution will be still same only, but output will be still different. So initially it was one test case, but here every cell will be, row will be considered single test case, because this is the hybrid framework, data driven plus keyword. So execution will be always same, there will be no difference, but result will be different, because you can execute the same test case with n number of variation also. Nah, that is the reason it is some difference is there. It is open every 5 iteration, 5 window. I can close it also, but here you could see 22 pass. Why? Because every test case is considered as a single test case. Every step here you could see log into Rediff email, right? Then again same method called URL, set text, and then again click sign in button, again other test cases. So that is the way every step has been considered as a test case. That is the way for the hybrid framework, because every test can also vary with the n number of different combination also. That is the reason it is giving you the result accordingly, and you have to tweak your code accordingly, so that you can try to access them, right? You can try to vary them with the different kind of combination. So I will just share the project. So what you need to do, simply you need to import the project to your Eclipse, and you need to remove all the first thing, reference library, because that reference library is having my own setting, right? You need to remove it, and then you need to download all your Selenium jar file and all your Apache jar file. I need to associate it with your project. After that, you don't need to change anything, simply your code will, framework will work. That is the reason I did not hard code it for the other part. I've given user dot, right, that part I've given. Instead of that hard coded, I've given system dot get properties user dot directory, so that it will give you the current path of your project wherever it is stored. In case you want to create something from the scratch, you can create a simple Java project. Then src folder, 3 packages here I can create. You can give any number of name. Then you can create excel sheet, right, whatever way I have showed you. Then you can have your 5 different column. You can first row you can give it for the header, so that you can easily understand, other person can easily understand. Then here, row by row, you can create the test case, and in case you are giving some test case name, relevant column, same row number, you are giving the blank value, so that you can able to write your code logic accordingly. Okay. Okay, so then you are trying to write your keyword, so you can give anything, url 1 2 3 4 by that doesn't matter, it's driven by you. But you need to update it, right, in your code to what signifies this one. But you should give it generic, so that same thing you can use it n number of time for similar kind of action. It does not matter that same field you have to do it, no. Similar kind of field, or there's a link, or there's a button, a radio button, you can click, right. In case it is a text field, uh, you can add the value. In case there is a link, hyperlink, or other part, you can navigate to the url. So that is the keyword you can do. Object, you can give your object name by your own, so that you can easily understand. Sometime in case you are having 10 pages, I can give rediff underscore home underscore username, so you can easily understand that this is the rediff home page and this is username field. In case you are having Facebook page, right, Facebook multiple page, of the Facebook underscore home underscore username, so you can easily understand this is the Facebook home username field. And this is the object type, means which element locator type you want to identify the object, and those value, corresponding value, you are trying to update it into that particular object dot properties file. So you can create the new file, and you can store it in the project, and extension will be always dot properties. Name you can give anything, and here you can give the static part, right, url, which will change. In case changes required, you can only change it from here. That is the reason, right, framework is having isolated component. In case something you need to change it, you no need to touch the other part. Suppose in case you have to add n number of test cases, you can add it in the excel. Tomorrow you need to change the corresponding element locator value, you can just simply go to the properties file, you can update it here. So this value and this particular value should map exactly, otherwise there is no significance. And this particular value you need to give it based on the object type exactly from the page. Now this part is done. Now you will be creating a class, right, which is Java class for reading the properties file. So that is the way you are creating the method here. You are trying to read the properties file with the help of the input stream, and you are giving the current path plus object properties file based on the extension. You are loading all the file, returning it. So what is the return type? Return type is P. What is P? P is the properties, that is the thing, return type is properties. That part is done. The next part, keyword operation, right? Here you are trying to create a constructor, so that where you are mapping this in 2 or 3 driver is there, you are trying to map them. Otherwise all the driver will be not be considered the same. You are creating a method here for get object, where you are trying to map with what exact XPath signifies, because XPath whatever you written that need to match with the Selenium extra standard. So by.xpath. Similarly for CSS, by.css selector. Similarly for its a link you can give in the Excel, but it should be matched with the link text, because Selenium does not understand link. Selenium element locator only understand link text, partial link text, CSS selector, XPath, like that. So whatever you are written, that part you need to match with in that particular here with using if else condition. In case nothing is matched, it will throw in the error. Now next part, next one, right, whatever actions you are trying to add, it maybe 10 actions, so 10 part you need to give it with the switch page. So click means by dot find driver dot find element, with the help of the element locator I will be clicking it. Set text means send keys, right, navigation to URL, it will be value. In case you want to match something, you can also use like driver dot get title, and then you can match it, right. That is the way you can give it. Then you need to create a class for the reading and writing the Excel file. So you need to go to the path completely, you need to go to the sheet dot extension, then you need to go to the sheet of the workbook. Here I have tried to read it with the help of the get sheet and sheet name. What is the seed name? Seed name is keyword driven framework, keyword framework. Then I can write my test case. This is for the keyword driven framework. So I have given the logic here, right? I have given global driver, web driver, web driver. I have tried to launch the page, maximize the page using the before test setup method, and after test setup method I want to quit every test case every time. And this is my test method name, test ready page, where I have created object or instance for every method I have created globally, right? So every class I have created globally. Then I am trying to understand how many row data is available. Last row minus first row plus 1 always to give the exact row count. I am iterating the row for the row number 1. Why? Because my row number 1 0 equal to my header. Then in case my row number, cell number is not having the value, I will simply try to perform the operation, as well as I will try to print exact cell wise. In case my having value, then I will simply, there is no action at all, so simply I will try to print out that test case's name along with some prefix or suffix. The test execution started, right? And then the test case name, and you can mention like that one. Whatever I have written, you can change it also. New test cases and test execution started like that. So that is the way if you run it, so it will work as a single test case, but your execution will happen for everything. But in case you are having an error, it will be throwing out. And hybrid framework, but I want to divide in every step as a test cases. So that is the way. Sometime in case something is failing or sometimes some particular thing is, I want to run it n number of time, it is also possible. So similarly here, given the condition is that in case it is not having the value, in case it is having the value in the roll number, cell number 0, so automatically it will try to launch the page every time. In case it is not having the value, blank value, it will try to simply execute it with every unique way. So that is the way it will try to execute it, and it will be giving you the result like that. So now if you try to run it, you could see it will be giving you one test cases. Let's close it, but it will definitely execute the n number of test cases whatever you have tried to give it. And now the benefit is that once you develop, right, the test cases, and sorry, skeleton, right, in the excel sheet, you can simply add n number of test cases in case you are finding that any new thing is coming, right, new method is new annotation is coming, new field is coming, simply you can add it accordingly. So that is the only one time activity. Otherwise, how easily I can add n number of test cases, that part you already shown, and I mean, right, seen. Now you could see it's also work. In case of 5 test cases, tomorrow I can add simply 20 test cases, 30 test cases with different combination, right? Different positive, negative values. That is the easiest way without touching my code, without touching my properties file. Only simply I will be updating my Excel sheet. Automatically it will consider the so many number of test cases like that. Sometimes your network might be slow, it might take some time, you don't need to worry. Okay, it will be there, but sometimes it will be faster. Yeah, in case your network is very slow, it is not loading, it might test case might fail, but it is not like that because of the real time value. Sometimes your page load some might take some time, right? So it will close the page in case it is fully loaded, and it will give you the result correctly, right? Here, like that. But now, in case you want to go with that keyword hybrid driven framework, so here every test case will be considered as a test step. So that is the way you can, and every time it will open the new browser. So that part logic you can change it accordingly. But this is the one way I have tried to cover. I already told there might be 25, 30, 50 number of way where people can try to develop their framework. But this is simple way I have tried to cover it. Okay, very simple way, so that you can get some knowledge. After that, based on your project, based on your customer, right, you can enhance that part, right, you can go with any complex area, that not be a problem. Now you go here, and you go, you could see 22 passed here, there is no failure. If you go here, you could see every test case step as considered as a test case. That is the way you can just make it differentiated. I will just cover it once more time, then I will take any questions in case you are having it. I know that it is not very simple one, guys. It's very complex area, so you need to practice it couple of number of times. That is the reason if you try to write the code, even it might be very tough. So that is the reason I will be giving you the framework code in case it's not given, so that you can simply download it. You can just change it accordingly, and you can, right, try to run it. But once you confident, then you can definitely
Let me
go with that. Once, just 2 minutes, give me. Okay, data driven part you already know, right? You can execute same number of test cases with varying the data. In the last session, you already seen how to read the data using Apache PY, but here also you can see how to read and write the data from the Excel sheet. So you will require the any Eclipse, you will require the Apache PY, you will require Selenium jar file, you will require the Excel sheet, and you could require the testng, and then with the help of the file input stream you can read the file, with the help of the file output stream you can read and write the write the file. Keyword driven framework is nothing but, right, same keyword you can define and, right, you can reuse it, so that, right, your maintenance code will be very easy. So single keyword can be across multiple test script. User can write only one time, then you can leverage it a number of times. So once the framework skeleton is ready, right, even non-programmer person also can contribute also easily on the test case design part. But yeah, a disadvantage for all the framework will be common only. So initial setup time will be required, right? You need to invest some sort of good skill resources, like that effort, that kind of cost, right? Tester also required some sort of knowledge, right, for developing the complex framework from the scratch, along with programming skill, along with tool skill, framework skill, and also sometimes they need to customize some utilities, that kind of thing. But once your process is streamlined, right, you can go ahead with very easiest way. Data driven framework, right, once your code is completely ready, means your application is ready, then you can go with that. But keyword driven framework, before your application is completely ready, you can still develop the schema, and once your framework is ready, you can just execute them, right? So planning has to be extensive and precise for keyword driven framework, whereas data driven framework planning is very easy, because same test case you are automating with n number of time combination. So keyword driven framework is very easy to maintain because it's having more abstraction of layer, right? Your code, obviously repository file, your test cases, other thing is also separated. But it even framework only two abstraction layer between the tested and test script, so sometimes it might be difficult to maintain. And hybrid is nothing but like it's a combination of data and keyword, so that is the reason, right? Every test cases also you can iterate with different variety of the data. Okay, so it's having the maintainability, reusability, manageability, accessibility, availability, reliability, flexibility, and measurability. Okay, so that are the important things I have tried to cover it today, guys. Thank you for your time.